Stampers, this is Holly from Rubber Redneck. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and welcome to another Rubber Redneck video tutorial. Today's video, I'm going to be demonstrating my March customer promotion. Place any order through my Stampin' Up online store from March 1st to the 31st, 2016, and you'll receive this Lucky You card. Now this is a fun and cute little card. I will also email you the mini PDF for this card. Please note, if you select no contact when you're checking out, I will not be able to email you the project sheet or mail you this card. And I also will not be able to follow up to make sure that you are happy with your order and that there is nothing wrong with anything. Along with this promotion, I also have another promotion. If you purchase $50 before shipping and tax, you will get the sample of ribbon, of the green and gold ribbon from me. And the ribbon sheets have about 1 yard of each one of our green and gold ribbons that we carry. So make sure you don't select no contact. And if you do select no contact and would like to receive stuff from me, then it's simple to go in there and go change that back. For all the details about all my customer promotions for the month of March, visit my blog, rubberredneck.typepad.com, and I'll also have the supplies I use to create this listed on there as well, and where you can purchase. Now, to create this fun card, I used several stamp sets to create this. I used our Something to Say stamp set out of our main catalog, and this comes in clear or wood mount, your choice. I used the Enjoy the Little Things photopolymer stamp set from our Occasion catalog, and I personally like the photopolymer because then you can see where you're stamping. And then I used And Many More stamp set from our main catalog, and this is available in clear or wood mount. And I used my all-time favorite is that Gorgeous Grunge background. And this stamp set is also available in clear or wood mount too. And then you're going to want to cut your card base. So you want to cut one piece of basic black cardstock at 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. Once you have that cut, you're going to score this at 4 1/4. Fold this over on your scored line and crease that down with your bone folder. I like this size of card. They're really fun, I think, this size. Then you're going to want to cut one piece of Whisper White cardstock at 4 inches by 4 inches. Once you have that cut, then you're going to need the following ink pads. You're going to need the Old Olive, Hello Honey, Cucumber Crush, and the Mint Macaron. So we're going to start with the Old Olive ink pad, and you're also going to want stamping sponges for each of those colors. And I'm going to start with the Old Olive, and what you want to do is we're going to dip the piece of sponge right into the ink pad and start stamping on here. And then you're just going to dab it. I call it stamping, but you're just going to dab your sponge right onto that cardstock. And you're just going to keep doing this randomly in a couple of places. So there's your first set of colors, or your first color, excuse me. Then you want to take your Hello Honey one and your stamping sponge and repeat that same process we just did. Tap your sponge in there and then put it right onto that Whisper White cardstock. And we're just going to do this and fill in on that Whisper White. And again, I'm just doing this randomly. You want your Mint Macaron, however you want to say that one. And then you need your stamping sponge again. And we're going to dab that in there and then dab that right onto that Whisper White cardstock, kind of filling in randomly. And then the last one you're going to need is the Cucumber Crush. Now, I ran out of stamping sponges, so for this, I had to go trim a little piece off of one of my sponges already. So this one does not have that fun little tag that I normally have on there. And then we're going to tap that in there, and we're just going to lightly fill this in. And the Cucumber Crush is a little more vibrant, so I didn't want it to draw too much away from the other colors, but I did want to blend it in there so that it all tied together on the card. So there's what your background's going to look like so far. Then you want to take this stamp from Gorgeous Grunge, ink it in Versamark, and stamp onto your Whisper White cardstock. And you're going to want to do this a couple of times. And then once you have done that, you're going to pour gold embossing powder over this. And then you're going to heat set this with the heat tool. Now, you don't want to use your embossing buddy because I thought how cool would it be to have little flecks of the gold stick to these colors that you just sponged on there in the background, so it was really light. And then the image from the Gorgeous Grunge is a little more bold and it pops out. And it just makes that really fun background. And then once you have that part done, you're going to need your Old Olive Baker's Twine. Now I didn't give a measurement on this because we're going to wrap this around and then tie a bow, so it's going to vary from person to person. So you want to leave just a little bit of this Old Olive Baker's Twine hanging, and then we're going to wrap this around. And I wrapped it around twice, and then we're going to tie our bow. And to tie the bow, I just pulled this all together snug, picked up the two strands and pulled the little tail through because I want it to wrap around those two pieces, and then I'm just going to make the bow. So I did not do any like cross tying. And then once you have your bow made, just fix that so it looks like how you want, and then take your paper snips and go in there and trim that. And then you want to slide this over to the left a little bit. And then we're going to set this piece aside for a minute. We're going to create the little front panel here next. You want to cut one piece of Whisper White cardstock, and you're going to cut that at 2 inches by 3.5. Then you're going to need your mint macaron stamp pad, and then you want the stamp from Enjoy the Little Things. And I'm using that little image, kind of like a vine image I call it, is what I'm using. And we're going to ink this in the mint macaron. And then once you ink it in the mint macaron, you want to take and stamp off onto a piece of scratch paper, because we want this to be the light. We don't want it to be dark. And then you're going to stamp down here onto the bottom of your Whisper White, and you're going to stamp to the right a little. See how faint that looks? Almost kind of looks like it's been shadow stamped. It's really, really cool, I think. Then you want to take this stamp from And Many More, and I'm using the Lucky You and the Memento Tuxedo Black ink pad. And we're going to ink this up. And then we want to stamp this right above that little vine image. Then we're going to take the heart from Something to Say, and we're going to create a clover with that heart. So I'm using that little heart image here in the Something to Say to create my clover. Then you want to take your Cucumber Crush ink pad. Now a little trick for you that I'm going to show so you can get a 4-leaf clover. Just ink your stamp up, and then you're going to stamp your heart up here towards the top. And then you're going to ink that again and turn it so your heart is upside down, and then line up the two bottoms with each other here. And then we're going to ink it again, and then we're going to do the sides. So you want to go in and you want to pull this in a little bit so you don't have a gap between the hearts. That's really important. Ink it again, and then you're going to pull this in and stamp again, creating your 4-leaf clover. How cool is that? Then you want your Old Olive ink pad, and you're going to need your stamping sponge again, and we're going to lightly sponge some Old Olive ink onto this Whisper White cardstock. I wanted to tone it down a little bit with it being white. It really stuck out a little bit too much on the background, so that's why I'm doing the sponging. I didn't want it to be quite so bright. And then once you have that sponge, we're going to sponge the edges here. We're going to distress it just to add a little more to this layer. So that's what it'll look like. And again, I use the Something to Say stamp set to get my clover. I like to be able to show you how to get a little more mileage out of your stamp sets. Once you have that part done, you're going to turn this over and we're going to add some stamping dimensionals onto the back, and you're going to want to add quite a few. And then we're going to place this onto that background that you stamped. And this is why you wanted your bow slid over to the left. So there's enough room to slide this under here, because you don't want it to hang off to the edge or be close to the edge. So slide that over. And we're putting it towards the bottom of that panel. And then you're ready to glue this piece to the front of your basic black card. And then to finish off this card, what I did was I took some rhinestone basic jewels, and I also took one of the gold basic metal buttons as well, and then you'll need a glue dot, and we're going to put that gold button in the center of your clover to kind of hide it. And then I also thought it kind of looked like a lucky penny in some ways. Just another fun thing for St. Patrick's Day there. Then you want to take some of the rhinestones and put them in here randomly onto your card, kind of wherever you want to place them. Just remember to build the pyramid, so that it flows nice with your eyes when you're looking at it. So there's the front. Now for the inside, you want to cut one piece of Whisper White cardstock at 4 inches by 4 inches. And then you're going to take that vine stamp again from Enjoy the Little Things stamp set, and you're going to need your mint macaroon ink pad. And we're going to ink this up, and this time we're not going to stamp off. We want to stamp right onto the paper at the top here, because I wanted that to stand out on the inside. And then we're going to glue this to the inside of that basic black card. And then that completes the Lucky You card. Be sure to visit my blog, rubberredneck.typepad.com, to find out about all my customer promotions for March, where to buy all these supplies to recreate your own Lucky You card, and if you'd also like to join my mailing list for my monthly newsletter as well, you can contact me through there. Thank you for watching.